Assists. Here's Doncic for three. I guess the ankle's okay. Luka keeps. Doncic spin. Fade away. It's gone.
The energy in this series has just done a complete 360. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying things like the Mavericks are done or the Mavericks might be cooked, but that couldn't be further from the truth. We've seen a Game 1 punch to the face against the Clippers, and we saw it again against the Thunder. But as we all know, the Dallas Mavericks always bounce back, and that's exactly what they did in Game 2. But not in the same way. Against the Clippers, we saw a Mavericks team heavily led by the greatness of Luka and Kyrie, but this time around the Mavs found a way to win even without the offense of Uncle Drew. PJ Washington dropped 29 points on 61% from the field and 64% from 3. And Tim Hardaway Jr. chipped in with 17 points on 60% from the field and 50% from 3 in just 18 minutes. The theme of this series so far really seems to be, can you hit shots? Both of these teams are so offensively well-rounded that getting stops isn't exactly the easiest thing in the world. In Game 1, the Thunder were the ones hitting the shots, and Game 2 was the complete opposite. I mean, when the Mavericks shoot 58% on contested threes, it's nearly impossible to win. But I'm not saying they only won because of their red-hot shot making, because they also showed glimpses of that lockdown defense we saw in the first round. The ability to sag off of Josh Giddey proved beneficial very similarly to the Russell Westbrook strategy. Here's Josh Giddey and here's Daniel Gafford, his matchup. Giddey's inability to shoot from the outside allows Gafford to stay in help constantly, with his biggest worry being an open 3 from a 30% shooter. Low risk, high reward. Here it is again. Lively and Hardaway can both sit and stop J-Dub's drive, forcing another Giddey miss. But it wasn't just this strategy that contributed to the Mavs defense, it was a collective team effort. Here's THJ and PJ. When Isaiah Joe comes off the DHO, two go to him, leaving the fade wide open. But PJ gets a deflection and Kyrie rotates over for the steal, leading right into a 4-point play.
Touch pass, Irving. Hardaway fires. Good on the 3.
Plays like these were the difference makers in the game. One team was nailing these types of shots and the other wasn't. Not only were the Mavericks cooking offensively, but the Thunder weren't all there from three-point land, shooting only 33% and 1 of 13 on contested threes, just 7%. An obstacle not many teams can overcome, and clearly the Thunder fell victim to it as well. And with their shooting being so bad, they couldn't afford to have many mental lapses, which they had a few of. Like in this play. Shea is so busy talking to his teammate that he forgets he also needs to guard someone, and PJ gets a wide open dunk. Or here, Chet telegraphs this pass so much and throws it right to Luka, leading to a 2-point conversion on the other end.
Loft Doncic. Jones with the slam.
And probably the biggest one of the night, Shea is helping way too much here. You know PJ has been on fire, and yet Shea decides to stay and double Lively with Chet, and leave PJ wide open so he can hit another 3. Very confusing. This series definitely doesn't appear to be as one-sided as the Clippers series was, but I think the Mavericks are just getting started, and the youth of the Thunder was beginning to show. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that Kyrie will be as offensively distant in future games. I mean, he went for 9 points on 2 of 8 from the field and 0 for 2 on 3s. That's just not the Kyrie we all know. Obviously, PJ most likely won't shoot this well again, but those points theoretically will be replaced by Kyrie. However, one point of concern for the Mavs is that their offense was becoming 3-point reliant, and cold stretches can become lethal for them as we saw in part of the second quarter. But with that being said, I expected the Mavericks to bounce back in this game, but it wasn't necessarily the way I thought they would. Nevertheless, they did get it done, and now the series is tied 1-1 with Dallas regaining home court advantage. But what did you guys think about this game? Are the Mavericks going to match this performance in Game 3, or will the Thunder punch right back? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.